Hey there, this is Dave the Wexler from the Energetic Agriculture Facebook group. I want to give you guys a public service message about the dangers of electroculture. Actually, not really, but there are some things you need to be aware of when using electrodes or metals that you're placing into the ground. So, for instance, when you're making, say, copper or aluminum spiral antennas, you need to be aware that as these things degrade over time, they don't produce healthy things that are good for plants or for our own consumption. So these are things you have to be aware of. Now, note that for aluminum, doesn't really degrade very well. Note that aluminum does not degrade very well within soils, except when the pH gets below 5 or so. Now, one of the issues with electroculture is it causes pH levels to lower over time. So this is something you may want to pay attention to with electroculture, in that you want to make sure that you keep your pH levels in check. Keep them close to 7 as possible. Another thing that you need to pay attention to is the presence of heavy metals within your electrodes. So if you're using aluminum, which is on the edge of a classification of that, but chromium, cobalt, mercury, don't use mercury at all. Lead's a big no-no. You want to stay away from heavy metals in your soil electrodes. And so as a part of that, you want to be careful of the metals that you use. Now, stainless steel uses chromium. Now, stainless steel would normally be a good one to use, but if it degrades in the soil, then it may not be so great to use. Normally with stainless steel, it will oxidize in air and create a protective barrier. But within the soil, especially as the pH levels get lower and lower, it's not necessarily a good thing. So I highly recommend that you stick with regular, say, carbon steels, or look for metals. Actually, the best metal that you could possibly use is titanium. It's hard, it's very expensive. Well, not as expensive as platinum, which is perhaps even better. But titanium is a good metal to use if you really want to ensure superb food-safe plant development. Aside from that, it's a perfectly safe way to go, and happy growing.